to do this speech. I really appreciate the previous speaker, but unfortunately my speech won't be so funny. A little bit more serious because of a lot of technical stuff that will be in it. So let's talk a little bit about fast and convenient image delivery. So we are doing our startup for half a year, and we realize that there are a lot of issues when we try to provide your users with a fast image delivery because of the connection quality, because of the not optimized content. So that's what I will talk about all this evening. So this is Kate, and she's really tired about this loading spinners because she really loves to watch some images and video on her smartphone and her mobile apps like messengers or social media apps. She really likes to watch some images from her friends that they send her, but she sees this and you know how it looks like. So we made a tool for mobile developers that makes image delivery for 2-4 times faster. And so from our perspective, this makes users really happy. So first of all, it's a great user experience. From business perspective, I guess that you can make happy not only your clients and end users, you can make happy your product owner and client. Why? Because you will reduce the traffic consumption. You will reduce the cost for your infrastructure. In terms of how it's going nowadays, some telecoms company can buy the traffic and from other companies, and they pay really huge amount of money to provide their free apps. So that's how it works in a first world countries. You can buy the package of your from your mobile company, from your mobile provider, and they will support you with a free traffic for your favorite mobile apps. So that's how we see we can reduce the money spending on the infrastructure at all. So who needs it? Not only telecoms. I think, for example, entertainment apps. IMDb videos and movies app. So there are a lot of media content, so a lot of users using it. So social networks and dating apps like a Facebook, dating apps, I don't know, Tinder, all of you know. If I'm talking about messengers like Viber or so WhatsApp, digital media apps like BBC News app, and photography services, for example, Flickr, Shutterstock, for online stores and delivery services like Amazon, and travel apps like Airbnb. All of these applications, they use and produce and consumes a lot of media content. So where does your app can get content? In case of when the content is uploaded by content editors, it could be social media, when users send each other some message with media content, videos, images, whatever, and it could be, yes, uploaded by content editors. When we are talking about some news feeds, for example, in case of digital media, it could be uploaded from third-party services, like in entertainment apps and others. Or you can have from the start the existing media storage. So delivery. So who knows what is CDN or content delivery network? So tell us.
Content CDN?
Yep.
Oh, I thought that this is a CDN from iPhone
Okay.
X. Sorry.
I can take it, yeah. So it's infrastructure they have, so they're caching static content around the world. So if you're in Europe, they have one CDN. server there, so it knows when you're requesting something from Google, instead of going all the way to California, it just stops in Frankfurt or wherever that data center is, and then you get it quicker.
Yep, exactly. Thanks. So it's a network of geographically based servers, and using your location, your content will be delivered from the closest place where you are. And so the benefits of the CDN is, as we said, it's a performance and a high availability. So in case if the closest server is down, you will get the content, maybe with a little bit, I think, delay, but you will get it, your user will get it. So it's this architectural decision to use content delivery network is really common for now. All websites, big websites with a huge traffic, with mobile apps that have a lot of content. So as we talked before, it could be CDN or it could be your standalone storage server. What is the difference between CDN push zone and pull zone? Who knows? Seriously, okay.
One is caching on itself, another is just sending for caching their data.
One more time.
I will guess. So when I'm in Kiev and I need to download something, for example, this image. So the push zone is where I am near my place, so it will store there. And then when I, for example, request this image in the United States, so the pull zone probably is in the United States, right? Like,
If I were you, I would think in the same way, but in fact the pull zone, it's like just a cache that you can put between your end users and your website with huge static files, and it will just cache all requests between them. So the push zone, it's like a storage. You can upload files there and they will replicate it automatically around all servers around the world. So they serve the same demand, but the CDN push zone, you can control everything what's going on. You upload files in it by yourself. Pull zone just caches your website.
okay.
Okay, so, and you can use your standalone storage server if you don't have a huge load. So, this is the simplest model when you have a mobile app that gets content from a storage instance. So let's make it clear. Under the storage instance, I don't mean just some web server that is running under the Nginx or some another web server. I mean some abstraction that store your content, that have your content, and can provide it for your end users. So your mobile app or website can get the media content from it. So it's the main point. So the next one. But what if you want your users, provide them with the possibility to upload their, for example, images in case of social networks or messengers to your storage instance, to share it with the other users? You need one more component. It should be some optimization server or some service that can get your content, analyze it, and store on a storage instance. I think it should be the REST service. So who knows what is the REST service? Okay, it's for people. Okay, it works. So the REST service is, well, it's like functionality that provides you with a four main method where you can create some item, for example, file. You can update it, you can delete it, you can read it, whatever. So, and you should provide this functionality under the sum of your servers to handle all your media requests for upload. So after that, authentication, it's the main point. Here you cannot just open your REST service for all guys and everyone who wants will upload your content. So you need to try some authentication using your maybe some framework, maybe some another stuff. So for example, in our project we have written the custom authentication process So whatever, just don't forget about this. It's a really important point. So we have talked about the case when your users upload your media content. So in case for social media and some social networks and some messengers, it works perfect. Your users upload their content through optimization server, and it becomes available for other users. You can share it with the link, you can show the preview. But what if you have, for example, some news feed from for example, BBC mobile app? They parse some RSS feed, they get the images from there, and they should show them in your mobile app using some new components. So in this case, I can be sure that all stuff that are going from some third party, from some RSS feed, will be good optimized. You know what I mean? So, for example, photographer takes a photo and he didn't optimize it and he stored it on some website, for example BBC, and then your mobile app parses their RSS feed and try to show this image that is 15 megabytes in a mobile app. So your newsfeed will be stuck at all. Another way is when your content editors upload some media content from CMS plugin like a WordPress, Joomla, Adobe Experience Manager, so whatever. And this stuff should be processed through the optimization server and go to your storage instance. So in this place, I can say that I would really recommend to develop some media manager. You should understand what content is going through it. You should understand, you should control it, you should prepare some analytics, you should prepare some information about traffic and storage usage. You cannot do this by searching through your logs on your web servers or your optimization servers. This should be something useful for normal people, not developers, you know what I mean? So the next thing, it's user experience and traffic. The media file size has a major impact on the delivery time from your storage instance to your mobile app. Of course, including connection quality. So you should prepare appropriate image resolution. So nowadays we have a lot of different devices. We have tablets, we have mobile phones, and if you have, for example, iPhone 3G, it has a really small resolution, and if we compare it to the Nexus 5 resolutions and iPhone 6 Plus resolutions, it is about 3-4 times lower. And in this case, you shouldn't deliver the big image to the first device. It will be totally overkill during the delivery and transformation of this image. So, in this case, we should add some different resolutions functionality on your optimization server and prepare it to be ready to understand what exactly devices are using your app to do different things. So from the mobile perspective, I call this thing as just a SDK, software development kit, that upload your stuff that can then get this stuff, your media files from storage instance, and that understands what exactly image you wanted to download and to show your user. One more point is the connection quality. So if you're watching some video or you, I don't know, list some images in your newsfeed in social network, you really don't care if you use a Wi-Fi connection. But what if you have limited traffic or 3G connection or something like a mobile internet that is limited, that could be not really good in some places, for example, in crowded places, right? I'm not sure that we should really deliver the good quality of image in this case. We can provide user with a bad quality of image, and in this way to reduce the traffic consumption. So your user will have this image without any delays. So formats. That is one more way how we can optimize traffic usage. So who knows how many years ago PNG was invented?
1990s, maybe.
Okay, so it's 19 years ago.
Yeah.
What about JPEG?
Much older. 25?
Almost. Yeah. And the last one, GIF.
26.
26, 29 years ago. So you understand that these formats are really old, you know, and they're heavy. They have an overkill when you compress the image in this way. So what I suggest is to use new formats that exist and that are developed and supported by world famous companies. So for example, WebP format, yeah.
Google,
By Google, of course. Who else? It was invented about 5 years ago, and developers from Google provides updates. The last was 3 months ago, and deploys both lossy and lossless compression. In average, it's about 30% reduction in the file size during lossless compression for JPEG, about 45 for PNG, 64 for GIFs, with lossy, and 19% for lossless. So, in case when we're talking about the terabytes of the data, it's a really big reduction of the traffic. And I think it is the future, and it will work for all of us. Because Android is really widespread devices around the world. Yeah, Google is everywhere. Big Google, big brother. Okay. And Android natively supports WebP. iOS, it's about just 14% of market for mobile devices, and it has stable library. So it works there. As well, we have tested it in our project. From browser's perspective, Chrome and Opera, it's about 66% of all market, and they support WebP natively. Other browsers have stable JavaScript library that you can integrate in your website, and you will support WebP as well. So I think a good example is Telegram. Who knows this messenger?
Everyone.
Okay, everyone, and everybody knows Pavel Durov. So he's really, I think, wise guy, because they decided to use WebP for their stickers. They claimed that they are about 5 times faster than other formats like JPEG and PNG in this case. And so they're really happy with this new format. They don't afraid to use something new, and they won. I think that a lot of users have switched to Telegram Messenger because of their nice stickers.
Nothing to do with security.
Oh, yeah.
And
I
security.
Okay, so case study. We did some tests for the different sets of images. So in case of the randomly downloaded JPEG and PNG images that are optimized already, optimized for by the different tools, we had just a small reduction in the file size.
What is the size of picture? It is different?
Different, just random. And so in case for the 10,000 not optimized image that we did for one of our clients, one of our projects from Luxoft, so you can see these numbers. Here it was just a 31% reduction in size, but I think it's a good result at all. And for not optimized images, we can reduce the traffic 7 times. So we can reduce the costs for infrastructure. We could reduce the cost of traffic. We could reduce the time delivery almost 7 times. And so I think it's how we see the new technologies and new formats doing our life nowadays. It's we shouldn't be afraid to use something new. You can just save your money by trying something new, for example, formats, for example, technologies. And so go back to our terrible scheme. Let's check the one of the last component, indexes. So we use a WebP, right? So we have created the system that optimize your content, that store your content, that can deliver your content, and you can manage it. But the question is in a managing process, because you cannot just iterate through the files that are stored on your file system. It takes very long time. You cannot iterate through the, I don't know, FAT file system, yes, or through the NTFS file system. The problem is that you should store some metadata about the files that you have in some place where that has really high accessibility. So I recommend to choose some database or indexes system. I worked with the Sphinx Search. It works perfectly, really fast, it's scalable. Or MongoDB, or in our project we use Apache Solr to store this metadata. So, the next one. Who knows what is a bottleneck in terms of software development?
It's most slowest part of the complex system.
Okay, so thank you. You're right. And so bottleneck, in our case, it was restriction with total count of the connections between our optimization server and one of the third parties that we used as a storage instance. We used one of the CDN's provider, and we had a bottleneck when we tried to store processed files. So I would recommend to check all the configurations and to be sure before development that you won't have the problems with the bandwidth between your components. So this is a really bottleneck when you try to send huge amount of the files, of the heavy media files through the network. And so how we fix this? We just say goodbye to our CDN provider and switch to our own storage server. So be sure that all components have good connections and have no restrictions when you're trying to develop on the scheme like this. So, high loading. When I was working in a Cyclone on a Formula One project, we had I think awful content management system that is called Adobe Experience Manager. But it has a really good infrastructure and architectural decision, but they had really bad implementation. So, and when we have developed the website, when we have run it, so we multiplies our processing instances. We put load balancer between the real servers and instances and end user. And so it helps us to handle all this load at all. So I would recommend you to do all your architecture scalable in case when you're trying to handle a lot of media content and requests for media content. So the next, and this is I think the last technical slide, and I'm happy, and I think you too. So Procache. So for example, you have a newsfeed where you parse some image and store it to your storage instance. The problem is that if you're getting some URLs to the images from some RSS feed from some third party, you should be able to do it before your first user. you should do that pre-cache functionality that will parse your RSS feed very frequently, and all of your content will be stored before the first request. I hope this makes sense, at least a little bit. So, anyway, forget about that terrible scheme. You won't do this if you, for example, you can buy our solution or do it yourself. It's no matter. So, for one of our clients, we did some infrastructure, and so we have a Java Play framework that is running on our optimization instance. I would really recommend you to use some asynchronous framework that won't lock your threads, your processors, that won't lock input-output mechanisms of the operation system that it's working on. So we use Java Spring framework for our web panel, where we provide customers with the statistics for traffic and storage usage. We have a PostgreSQL for database instance and Apache Solr instance to store the metadata about the files. So our storage is simple. We transfer files there using FTP protocol, and it is an Nginx running on it that can handle a lot of requests. So our system is stable under 15 concurrent requests for optimization. Image size, it's really depends on article, depends on so it could be really different, and it is from 100 kilobytes to up to 15 megabytes, and so we can process from 20 to 50 images per second, depends on the file size, of course, and it works perfect under unexpected load in, because we did a spike test, so it is stable and you can buy it. So let's stay in touch. My name is Vladimir. I'm a CTO at Pixpie, so subscribe to our channel, subscribe to our news. By the way, we're looking for collaboration with mobile developers, mobile application companies. Maybe you have friends that have some problems with image delivery performance. So thank you. Time for questions.
What is your business model?
Business model? Oh, here we have started as a cloud solution, but then we realized that from marketing perspective, it's really expensive to get the client, and we can get a lot of clients and spend a lot of money, but all that clients will give us no money. So we have switched to the on-premise solution. So in our plans, we want to run our components from the Docker. Maybe background. I think Docker would be the best decision. So, but so for now, it's mostly on-premise solution, and we can, if you do not have any already exist storage infrastructure, we can help you to decide what is the better for you. Would it be some, I don't know, some CDN, or you can set up your own storage server where you want inside your already existing infrastructure. So it's on-premise, and we support the full process, the full flow from when you're pushing us, and then we'll give you just a few infrastructure where you can just integrate our mobile SDKs inside it and request images.
Some two technical questions, actually. The first one about storing metadata for your images.
Okay.
You mentioned Sphinx.
Yes. Okay.
Have you looked at Elasticsearch? And if you had, why decided to use Sphinx, not Elasticsearch? And the other question is about Redis. What is it consist? I guess it would be used for caching.
Okay, thanks for questions. So the first one, maybe I think you're a little bit confused because we're using Apache Solver. I just recommend you to think about these things because I worked with it before. So we use Apache Solver, and the decision was made because for now we need to just search through some groups of files. So some media files, for example, that are lying under the one folder. So that's enough, and we do not need the full text search for now. It's a good feature, but you know we are using lean startup methodology, and we do not want to spend a lot of time. So for now, and the next question about Redis, right? To be honest, I just took a quick look to Redis, and I have no idea how it works with video streaming. As you know, Nginx Plus, yes, it works good, and some optimized and configured Nginx Plus solutions, they are used on real CDN, where the loading is really huge. So I know that Redis is a pretty good cache, but I have no idea how it works with the streaming.
The main feature of that it works on the operation memory and it's really fast.
Mm-hmm.
But
So I think for static files, but not really big, it will work perfect, but maybe not for the storage where you have terabytes of data.
actually you need a lot of operation memory.
Some technical questions. Yep.
What about your competitors like Cloudflare? They also provide some services which are very kind of similar, but also they gzip everything, and they kind of not only like images. They don't work with images only. They also work with content. I mean, and what's your competitive edge, whatever?
So I had some slides for this. So competitions. In case of Cloudflare, they do not have SDK and on-premise solution. So when we get a Luxoft, right, we have an agent sitting here. He raised the hand. The first point was that, guys, we have our own infrastructure. We do not want to use the cloud. We have our own cloud. So in this case, we provide them with our components that are running now on their infrastructure, and so Cloudflare can't help them in this case. I read a lot of solutions like this, but none of them using our heuristical method to understand what is the quality of connection and what is the image resolution that appropriate for this device. So we try to understand, for example, if you have an avatar, and it is 50-50 pixels, and you do not need to download the whole image. So, and in this case, you cannot do this without the SDK. Cloudflare provides you with the possibility to upscale or downscale image dynamically in a web browser. But in a web browser, it's simply JavaScript libraries that will get each component where you put the image, right? And it will replace the way the path to your storage server with the path to the CDN. And in this case, it will understand what is going on. From mobile perspective, you do not have any headers. And from mobile perspective, you do not know what is you cannot run JavaScript there. You do not know what image this mobile device needs.
Okay.
Ask a question about Cloudflare. They give you DDoS protection. What about your services?
Okay. So in this case, as I said, our on-premise solution is not just some components that are running without other third parties. So our storage instance could be some CDN's push zone or pull zone. And between the end user and our service, we can put DDoS protection, so whatever you
So
want.
you need additional something like Cloudflare
So
between
maybe
you and client, yes?
mostly for now we are oriented to enterprise, and so in case of, for example, Luxoft, it's for now it's a closed solution for people who works at Luxoft. So and in this case, it's not a popular service that will be DDoSed. So, but if we have this issue, I think there are a lot of services, as you know, that are working just on a DDoS protection. So Cloudflare is really expensive for this.
Also, you told that you resize image before client download it. So
Yeah.
you make all resizes for all sizes at first point when you upload image.
No, we we try to understand, and first of all, we try to get this information from the client. What are the devices mostly use his app, and we create some base resolutions. So if there are no appropriate resolution, I mean that precisely optimized for current device, will provide the user for the resolutions that near it. So for example, if you have Nexus 5 and you are requesting the resolution with, I don't remember, let it be 1900 and blah 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 pixels, and we have 1500 pixels, we will provide you with this image. SDK will request it. So it won't be ideal, but it will be really faster than original 15 megabytes image.
And last question from me, who are clients? Can you give some example?
We have a lot of clients that are, we have negotiations with them, we have faces. It's contact online community that have about 1 million subscribers, and they are making their mobile app for now, so we are integrating in them now. And so, as I said, it's one of the Luxoft project, and I cannot share what is its name, unfortunately. And we are talking to, we are negotiation with Modnacaster for now. So it's on-premise solutions. And so we won WARP acceleration program from Habrown accelerator from Krakow. And so Deutsche Telekom, that has founded this program, so our CEO was invited to go to Krakow, and we'll try to talk with the telecoms, because we think that we can integrate our solution in the points of their infrastructure where we can optimize all media content that are going through it. So it's our plan.
Oh, I'll add you one more question. Do you support SSL?
Sorry?
Do you support certificates?
SSL?
Yes, SSL.
Sure, all our requests run through secure connections. So, maybe not technical questions.
Okay, you mentioned that images that were processed by your platform
Yeah.
in the end result are device specific. So if we take the use case where I use my favorite iPhone 3GS to save some article processed by your platform to Pocket or let's say Instapaper,